Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one! Another one!
Oladipo!
One! Huge hole! He's at the 30. He's going to go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Worked out by Burke. Bounces into Cody. Puts it up. Scores!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. What am I leaving out?
Great question. I have no idea. I just sum it all up with happy holidays.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, welcome in. Thursday, Christmas. I even got into the Christmas festive spirit. Got a little red-green going there. Well, at least you're not wearing the yellow today.
Yeah, I thought I would try to be more visible. I got I'm patriotic. Red and blue. Red, white, and blue.
Yeah, Braves, rocking the Braves hat.
Hero run 5K. Finished last.
You did?
In my age group, yeah.
How can you do that? How can you finish last?
Well, first of all, there's only like 13 or 14 people that are in my age group that run in it. And most of the people who run in it are then dedicated runners. I do it for the T-shirt.
Next time you have to find out how many people, who the people are, and you have to mark them somehow. It's take some kind of quick little dot of paint on their back number or something.
I'll take a Sharpie with me and mark the back of their arms.
Boom. Yeah, walk up and say, hey, how you doing? Put a little mark on their neck.
That way I have a target.
You got to chase somebody down. You cannot be last. I remember in I was a junior high or freshman. We were running track, and I was sprinter. Ran hurdles and sprints. And coach says, hey, I need you for the whatever it was, 3 times around the track, 1,500.
Sounds right.
I was like, what? I didn't like the idea, but so I'm in it. So I run around the track the first time, that's a quarter of a mile. Then you're back around the second time. I'm like, man, I know this is not long distance. I hate long distance running. So this is exactly why I hate long distance running. But on that last lap, all I can think about is I will not be last. And buddy, when we hit that fourth turn, it was just all I had. I'm like, I don't care, but somebody is going to be behind me.
You have more drive than I do because there were new mothers pushing a stroller that were passing me.
Oh my God.
I just call it good sportsmanship. I let all those other people
What, are you walking backwards?
I'm just really that slow of a runner. Let's air quote right there.
Holy smokes. Pregnant women in strollers passing you.
Hey,
that's great.
Sportsmanship.
Oh, last night Indiana got another win on the basketball court as they took care of Northern Kentucky easily. That was not even much of a scrimmage for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then even at the end when they were hitting shots. Northern Kentucky hit a lot of shots in the second half, but man, they were terrible. They were at one point they were 2 of 20 for 10%.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And they only lost this game by 18 though.
How much of it? Okay, I'm gonna reveal. I didn't watch much of the game last night. What was the? Did that run happen at the end of the game? To make it 18?
It just started happening over the course of the second half. They hit a ton of shots. I think they hit 60% in the second half. Let me pull that up. They were just, it was crazy. Men's basketball.
How How about the fact that Indiana is a second half collapse against Wisconsin away from being undefeated in December?
And well, just what in Syracuse, they could be undefeated. Period. They should have won both of those games.
That's true.
Yeah, no way that they should have lost either of those, but they're not. And but by saying that, I don't think that they're like this 12-0 or team that they're that good. They're not yet. They've got some things to work through, man. But I think they went a long way last night. You had Anthony Leal getting a start, but that was because of, oh my gosh, dropping a Parker Stewart.
Yeah, you got it.
In a doghouse of some kind, obviously. Did not play a minute in the first half. He comes in the second half. Woody was asked about that. Oh, I should have had John get, that clip because that was pretty good. But he was asked about that, and he just emphatically said, I will not talk about it's an in-house matter, and I will not talk about in-house matters. Boom, end of story. Wham. I think that most of us knew that that's how it was going to go, but that's exactly what happened. So he served his penance, and Anthony Leal got to be the benefactor. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're able to get a different guy into a rotation, it gives them an opportunity to get experience in that role. Doesn't matter who you're playing, really. It's just the fact that you get the start and you get some other guys some more minutes in that first half. And like you said, they were pretty dominant through those first 20 minutes. So, no harm, no foul. I do kind of like, too, that, a lot of coaches do that, but it just seems a little bit different coming from Mike Woodson when he just puts his foot down, right? Like it just, that's the end of the story. Some coaches, you can kind of ask a few other questions and try to make an assumption or get a pretty educated guess. But with Mike Woodson, he just puts that stuff to bed, and that's the end of the story.
Well, I'll tell you what's not the end of the story going on out in college football world. What in the wide world of sports is going on? Rutgers is headed to the Gator Bowl? What? A 5-7 Rutgers team is headed to the Gator Bowl.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Maryland, think about this, Jim. Both teams were 5-7 heading into the final game of the season. Maryland wins, gets bowl eligible. They're going to the Pinstripe Bowl. Rutgers loses, is 5-7, and now they're going to the Gator Bowl.
How does this happen? How does Rutgers get in? Why Rutgers?
Academic progress rate. So what happened is,
are you kidding me?
All the 6-win teams were they were slotted. So all the bowl games were fit, and I think it came down to Hawaii being 6-7 and then being permitted to get into a bowl game. You might check me on that. But then after that, it goes to the 5-7 teams, and it's all based on academic progress rate. That's the tiebreaker. So Rutgers had the highest, and I think Illinois was number 2 on that list. So it was going to go to a Big Ten team pretty much regardless, unless they had Marshall or BYU. Another option was having one of those two teams play a second bowl game. So they steered clear of that. So because Rutgers has the high academic progress rate, they're headed to the
second bowl game. Can you imagine the unprecedented thing of a team playing a second bowl game in the same season? That would be phenomenal.
That would have been crazy. And it would have been, I think it would have been a lot of fun. And, some of those coaches were probably chomping at the bit because that's what, another week's worth of practices you get in for next season.
But it's also a preamble to the college football playoff scenario where you play multiple weeks where you're going to be playing.
That's a good point.
To give you a look at that. But wow. Yeah, I just can't fathom. But that's what I mean. Hey, you get lucky. But Texas A&M, how the hell is Texas A&M not have enough players to play? I mean, are you serious?
Yeah, it is strange. I'll say that. I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, Other than it seems like Georgia got hit. There, JT Daniels, I think, is in protocol. Alabama has some coaches that are theoretically they may not be coaching in the is it the Cotton Bowl?
Semifinals?
Yeah, the semifinal. I think it's the Cotton Bowl. I mean, it's crazy. And then for the college football playoff to release some of the statements it did, it's adjusting. It's all media availability is going to be virtual. They're allowing teams to show up just 2 days prior. They don't have to participate in the pre-bowl game stuff. Some of those events and activities that kind of go along with the bowl games. It's going to be interesting. And then, the forfeiture rules and things like that. I don't know why we need to be thinking about that. But I guess you have to have some sort of plan in place in case things go really bad.
Do they have I wonder who are the available 5 and 7 teams on the APR rate?
I think Illinois was number 2. I don't know beyond that.
Yeah, I don't see I don't see a link to find that, but yep, that's pretty wild. So there you go.
Can you imagine could you imagine if Rutgers wins that game?
That was my next question, because I'm sitting there looking at the fact that they're playing a 10 and 2, 10 and 3
probably, yeah.
Wake Forest team who's out of the ACC, which means they're not that good. They're not that good. So a top level ACC team is a sub mid-level Big Ten conference team. And by sub mid-level, I mean below the middle of any division. Well, maybe middle of the West, but
are you sure about that though?
In the East?
No. In the West, think Iowa would probably beat Wake Forest, Wisconsin, Purdue, Minnesota.
Now we're starting to guess.
Now we're starting to guess.
The West is just weaker, man. So I think they're probably in the middle of the West. Definitely
okay, but here's my counter to that. The Big Ten East was 12-10 against the Big Ten West this year.
Counterpoint. Say that again.
Counterpoint. Did I say it with a little draw or something? Counterpoint.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't hear the number.
Oh, I thought you just wanted me to say counterpoint on repeat.
No, I said counterpoint.
The Big Ten East was 12-10 against the Big Ten West. The only teams that didn't lose were Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, but
here comes the buts.
Are you going to make the argument that the Big Ten West is even close to being on par with the East?
I'm going to say that I think how do I want to phrase this? I think the depth in the West is probably better than that in the East.
Team-wise?
Yes. It's not as talented at the top. It's not.
No way.
The West doesn't have an Ohio State or a Michigan.
Nope. And they've got and the East has a 5 and 7 Rutgers team in a bowl game. Is Maryland in a bowl game?
Maryland is in a bowl game.
So the entire division except for Indiana then.
I mean, that's fair, yeah.
That's pretty strong. Is the entire division the Western Division? Illinois is not.
Okay, so if you take away Illinois,
Nebraska's not.
Nebraska and Northwestern. So, but if you take away, how many more do they have? Rutgers gets there on a technicality.
They only have 4 teams left, man.
So 4 of those teams are going bowling, and you put Illinois and Rutgers on the same level because it's a technicality. It comes down to academic progress rate. So those 2 teams are pretty even. So what does the East have? 1 more bowl team?
The East has probably the 4 best teams in the league.
4 best?
I don't put Iowa in front of any of the 4.
I mean, Iowa beat Penn State.
Back then, yes, but now I would not give it to them. I think that they have regressed, man.
You don't think Penn State regressed? They finished 7-5.
Well, yeah, they had more injuries.
I'll give you Ohio State and Michigan. And I'll probably put Michigan. I think the top 3. I don't think Penn State.
And I'll see your Ohio State and Michigan. And I'm kidding. We got to take a break. We're having fun here. It's the Christmas holidays. I hope you're having a great day. It's Thursday of Christmas week. Have a little fun today. Dustin Schutte's with me from Saturday Tradition. What else we got, John?
We got Matt Taylor. We got Kyle Neddenrip. And we may have Alec Lasley, but I can't confirm that yet.
All right. We're back with more here on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurants.
Whether it's a celebration.
I haven't heard from Matt, but he's been pretty good about showing up, hasn't he? I haven't been here the past 3 weeks on Thursday, so I can't really vouch for
You
that.
don't know.
I don't know.
Was he here last week?
What?
I don't know.
Matt Taylor?
I can't. I really can't remember either, to be honest with you.
I guess we'll just shoot our bullets, figure it out.
Wait,
I can't remember who was here yesterday.
I think he was, because the Colts just played the Patriots on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember talking to him
talk
about
about
that
that.
game.
Okay. So he should be.
All right, if he pops in, though, I've got to pop out.
Okay. I apologize if guests flake out today and you end up having to stay longer.
Oh, it's
during
okay.
your-
7 Colts make the Pro Bowl.
You're off tomorrow, right, Dustin? You don't have to work on Christmas Eve, do you? Or do you have bowl
I
games
work.
to cover?
No, I work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Do you really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a website. We never stop. I mean, I'm not sitting there for 7 straight hours in front of my computer like I am during the season, but I'll hop on and probably do, I don't know. I might work
Well,
3 or
it's
4
more
hours each day.
casual.
Right. Tomorrow I'm playing golf in the morning.
Tomorrow I'm playing golf in the morning.
I knew that would piss you off.
I was going to say. Man, Jim, I had a clip I wanted to cut of you the other day, and I forgot where
Tomorrow
it was.
I'm playing golf in the morning.
I don't know if I could find it anymore. It was something along the same lines of your like your transfer portal thing, and then what you just did there with the golf.
How much time we got left in this break?
A little over
Probably
a minute.
a minute and a half.
Okay, I'm gonna run and get coffee really quick. I'll be back.
All right.
In a
Good.
sec.
Do you have rum? Do you have rum chata peppermint bark?
No, I got whiskey in a bottle.
Oh, good Lord.
Man, little cow. He's
That's great.
cowboying up.
I'm not.
I'm playing golf.
Cowboying up.
I'm playing golf in the morning.
You can't say it with any kind of a masculine inflection.
I'm playing golf in the morning.
You sound like one of the Oompa Loompas or the Munchkins.
That's
from Wizard of Oz.
that's exactly what it should sound like.
I'm playing golf in the morning.
All right, Alex, a no-go. All right, let me go ahead and bring this back in.
TheHoosier.com is where you'll find complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, as well as coverage of the Big Ten. Simply go to TheHoosier.com and sign up. It's free.
You can always
catch Indiana Sports Beat Radio there. Or you can find it any place you podcast or on this station each weekday. If we're not on the station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurants.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. If you're like our friend
Festivus.
Bob,
Festivus.
Happy Festivus. Oh,
That's a
my
good
God.
point.
Oh, I forgot. Is there music for Festivus?
There's a airing of grievances. I actually have some Festivus
don't
socks.
worry. We're gonna have an airing of grievances today. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
I got a lot of problems with you people,
And you're gonna hear about it.
and you're gonna hear about it. I should go find if I have a pole of some kind, I'll just stick it behind me.
There you go.
Feats of strength. Well, yeah, Festivus has to be one of the greatest holidays ever created.
And that's
in the
today,
history
isn't
of-
it?
It is today. That's what I'm saying. Happy Festivus. Happy Festivus. We're celebrating Festivus.
For the rest of us.
So we're good. It's a Festivus for the rest of us, and we're going to have the airing of grievances.
That sounds good.
So this season, I wish we'd have planned this out a little bit better.
Yeah. Catching me right on the cuff.
Well, we can use it for another segment if you want. Give you some time.
Let's table it for another segment here, so I can think about some stuff that aggravated me.
We're gonna have the Festivus airing of grievances segment coming up later. The ACC has revised their scheduling policy to avoid forcing forfeits. The ACC is in regards to COVID-19 protocols. League ADs unanimously supported the change announced Wednesday. Well, what the hell's the change? It didn't say. Games that cannot be played will be rescheduled if possible. If those games cannot be rescheduled, they will be considered a no contest. It does not affect the team's record like it was last year, basically. Whereas, like the Big Ten, you miss a game, you get an L. And
the Big Ten is thinking about changing that too. They released a statement
of course.
Wednesday.
Why wouldn't they? The Big Ten is going to change their mind on everything at the last second because Johnny did it. Well, we better do it. This is the Big Ten has decided that we're going to consider these as a forfeit, and that's how it's going. They just said that. In reconsideration, the Big Ten has decided it, they're Johnny come lately. Again, Johnny come lately. Why is it the Big Ten all of a sudden in the last couple of years has become Johnny come lately in everything, in every decision, in every matter? I mean, is it me?
No, there's two reasons. Number one, Jim Delaney is no longer running the show. That's number one. Number two,
what a polite way of putting that. I would have never, ever thought of putting it that way.
It's the holiday season. I thought I would try to,
I appreciate it.
It.
I appreciate the creative thinking.
That's number one. The second part is the reason I don't know that it's been the last couple years, but the reason it's been the last year is because, do you remember when they were first on something? It was canceling the season, and they ended up looking like a bunch of fools and having to reinstate the season. So this is why, going back to, this is going to turn into an airing of grievances section or segment, because you go back to Big Ten Media Days, and we sat there, Jim, in Indianapolis, and Kevin Warren talked about coming up with a plan or a strategy for if somebody had to cancel because of COVID and there was no plan, there was no strategy. It took them another month to get something in place. It was like a week before Illinois and Nebraska kicked off. Every other Power 5 league had come up with a strategy. So now, because they were first on canceling the season and it blew up in their face, now they're taking their time and seeing what these other conferences do so they don't look like a bunch of idiots. That's my opinion. That's not putting it politely, by the way.
That's exactly it. I think that there's no secret that the powers that be have shown zero confidence, they just have rarely hit the mark. Whereas that's kind of a 180 from the days of Jim Delaney, where the Big Ten was the leader in virtually everything. They did not make mistakes. Everything they did was thought out, done to the right. I mean, I'm not saying they were perfect, but the Big Ten was on a collegiate course of the NFL. The NFL has been run like a Fortune 500 company for a long time.
Yep.
They treat that league like a big time business, like a Fortune 500, a top corporation. And that is how it's run to a T. And I mean, buddy, it goes far beyond what I think a lot of people can imagine. as far as decisions and things that are made up, and the Big Ten as well. TV rights, having their own network first, just so many things that they were so progressive on, and always 2 steps ahead of everybody. I mean, the ACC, how long have they had their league now? 2 years?
The channel?
Yeah, they're
it's within the last 5. I know that. It might be 2 or 3. I'm not exactly sure.
How was the Big Ten? 10 years ago?
15
years ago. Are you kidding me?
2000.
Even the SEC's network, it's a couple of years old.
Right.
The Big Ten was always first. And now not only not being first, but then being first and wrong, being last and wrong. It's just like they're just wrong. It's like, stop. What the hell? I mean,
well, and think about this too. It's not just the Big Ten network that was established that kind of changed the way we did television, but think about before Delaney left and the deals he was able to strike up with ESPN and Fox that made the Big Ten revenue share the biggest, like largest by a wide margin among any of the Power 5 conferences. I mean, you're talking about the SEC. The thing that I know Jim Delaney, he had good relationships with the ADs, with the coaches. He had good relationships with the presidents. But he also understood that these Big Ten universities are the largest in the country. Like, they produce the most alumni. They have the largest student base. You can take advantage of that. And I'm not sure that the current leadership is quite using that to its advantage now. What I will say is there is a prediction out there from Sports Business Journal that the Big Ten will cut ties with ESPN and go over to CBS and utilize that deal since the SEC's leaving. That could be a power move because I think you could ask a pretty good chunk of money from CBS. Now, we'll see what happens with that, but there's a chance for Kevin Warren to kind of right this ship a little bit if he's able to make some sort of big-time deal with CBS and keep that Fox relationship, because that is a very lucrative market, and the SEC is going to be hard to catch with Oklahoma and Texas joining up.
Well, I don't see them. ESPN has no reason to keep a relationship with the Big Ten other than the quality games, because their relationships go. The SEC network, that's an ESPN channel. The ACC network, that's an ESPN channel.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The Big Ten network, well, they're owned by Fox.
Fox, yep.
So the relationship is already set with Fox. ESPN doesn't want a relationship with the Big Ten, like I said, other than marquee games. But CBS would value that because CBS is still that old school Brandon network. Big Ten is an old school Brandon network. Big Ten basketball in the wintertime. I mean, how that still goes back in my mind. I think back Indiana, Kentucky playing on CBS, all the national games on CBS. So it just, the relationship's already there. And I think CBS needs that.
Well, and I think the other thing about this is you look towards the end of the season and you have some of these premier matchups. What's interesting to me is a lot of people will complain about the Big Ten schedule, like the schedule of the games, because you'll have certain teams pitted against, you might have a premier matchup, like an Iowa-Minnesota, let's just say, as a rivalry game, and it's going up against Ohio State, Michigan State. And I'm pretty sure that ESPN is doing that on purpose because they want to try to hurt the Fox viewership as much as possible. I don't even think it's as much about their ratings as much as it is. They don't want Fox to have that same sort of those big numbers, because a lot of those games, usually 3 of the 5 highest watched games are Big Ten games, and it's typically the ones on Fox because they get Michigan, Ohio State. They get Michigan State, Ohio State. They get Penn State, Wisconsin. They get some of these premier games. So I think the Big Ten ESPN thing has been waning for a while, and I think it will eventually come to an end, but it's going to be interesting. And how that's going to impact the college football playoff, the selection committee and all that stuff. Part of this is you've got to get other broadcast networks, other television companies involved with the playoff. It can't just be ESPN who controls the ranking show, who controls the SEC and ACC networks, who controls the semifinal rounds in the national championship game. To me, that's a conflict of interest. There's nobody really to govern any of that. So I think that would be a power move by the Big Ten to try to, and this quote unquote, the alliance with the Pac-12 and the ACC, to try to get other broadcast partners involved with not only the Big Ten side of the football coverage and CBS Sports, but then getting other broadcast partners involved with the playoff.
The alliance. You know what I think of as the alliance? When I hear the alliance, I think of Kevin Warren being outsmarted again and going around
like a little kid going, "Hey guys, the SEC's they're going to beat up on us. So why don't we get together? Come here and let's stand together."
And a picture of 3 kids standing there. That's what I would see. That should be the commercial. 3 kids standing there going, "We're not going to take it, SEC." I mean,
it's like the Little Rascals.
Well, yeah. What the hell was that? What they call that?
What they call the
big,
alliance?
The big, yeah. So what that turn out to be? That was
still nothing.
Exactly. It's just a bunch of smoke. People talking nothing about nothing. And that shows you, that right there shows me the leadership of the Big Ten, at least. I don't care about those other 2 leagues, but the Big Ten, that shows you right there the kind of leadership that they're under. That's just a bunch of crap.
The thing that was most interesting, frustrating, phrase it however you'd want, is the fact that 2 weeks or a week after, it might not even been a week after they announced this alliance for scheduling benefits and television markets and all that kind of stuff and working together, is the Pac-12 USC scheduled a neutral site game against LSU. So the scheduling advantage was supposed to be the Pac-12, ACC, and Big Ten teams would play each other and kind of block out the SEC. But that didn't even happen. So I don't understand what the point of it was.
Lots of COVID forfeits going on. Big East is up to 3 this weekend, I think. Georgetown and Providence resulted in the 3rd cancellation and forfeit this season. See, they're counting it as a forfeit. The Big Ten counting it as a forfeit. I don't know how that's going to impact the end of the season. We'll certainly see. Other games that went on last night, I didn't pay attention to be honest with you, because I was busy with the Indiana game. But Duke gets by the Hokies 76-65. Tennessee upsets Arizona. Number 19 Tennessee, 9-2 at home, 7-0 at home, 9-2 overall. Arizona went on the road. You got to give them credit. Go on the road this time of year in the Tennessee Thompson Bowling Arena. They were 11-0, man. You got to give this coach all kinds of credit. The dude that came down from Gonzaga as an assistant from Gonzaga, because when you come into a program that is basically coming off of being punched in the stomach by the NCAA,
yeah,
but normally, but now they're just slapping them on the wrist. But there's still usually problems because you got people that had to leave. There's another one I have to get to, and all that. There's changeover. There's all this.
Yeah.
Man, they're not missing a beat. I mean, not only are they not missing a beat, they've gotten better, and they're doing it by the right way.
Hey, we can't forget our buddy Tom Crean. Georgia Bulldogs lost to East Tennessee State last night.
I'm just getting ready to roll down. What was the score on that? I don't see.
They lost by 2. I believe it was on a last-second 3-pointer by I don't know what the East Tennessee State mascot is, but whatever they are.
Aren't they like the Buccaneers?
Some sort of, I knew it was some sort of pirate thing, whatever it may be.
I thought East Tennessee State. I was thinking of Eastern Carolina. All right, we got to take a break, I guess. Or do we? Is it break time? What times?
Mm-hmm.
All right. See if you can find that clip, John.
Of what? Of the East Tennessee State shot?
Yeah.
Okay.
That has to be where was that? It had to be played at Georgia.
I hope to God they weren't playing at East Tennessee State.
Yeah, that had to be played at Georgia. That's How much trouble? I mean, you're down there. I know we got to take a break, but we'll talk about it on the backside. But Tom Crane, this has got to be his last year at Georgia. We'll talk some more college basketball. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio here. It's Christmas Thursday. We're back with more. Happy Festivus. Back right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Sports on television.
Now, again, we're supposed to have Kyle Neddenrip for this coming segment, but there's no telling. I have not heard from him this morning, so this may just be the Dustin Schutte show today.
If we don't, then we'll have the airing of grievances.
The airing of the ISB airing of grievances.
And the first one is Kyle Neddenrip didn't show up.
And Matt Taylor.
I'm just kidding. I
teasing.
will grieve about it, and then I will kid. I will forgive because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
The originator.
See, this is why we don't do a show. He was wanting to do a show tomorrow originally, Dustin. I was like, that's a horrible idea. No one's going to come on.
Not true.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a best of.
Yeah, that's what
you know. I used to, dude. Back in the day, it didn't matter. I didn't miss a show. I did a show every day. It didn't matter.
I don't get how you can't take a day off, even for yourself.
Well, I mean, probably should. It's not exactly healthy. Why I'm taking a couple of medicines I'm taking now. But back then I really couldn't. I mean, I guess I could, but it's always felt like if I miss a day, you lose the audience. Just like they're gone. I just felt like that they're always gone.
Yeah, that's just something in your head.
I get it, but I can't get it out, man. I guarantee you know other people like that.
Yeah, one of them I think
Being
I
a
work
producer.
with. Not me and you, someone at iHeart.
Right. Well, that's what I meant. Which one is that?
I'm not going to say on the air. not that person would hear me, but I could just kind of just the demeanor.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just
Well, I talked about him the other day, so that should give you a clue.
Well, you talked about 6 different guys from the same place.
The guy I said just for.
I know. I do know. I think I already know who you're talking about.
Okay, you know who it is. This person, yeah, you know who this person is.
Yeah, but that's different. I don't get upset with.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, though. It's the same thing, though. I believe at one point during this person's career, they were in that same mindset. That's kind of what I get from them. All right, let's come back from break.
For 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Or how about a brand new 2021 Honda Passport? Also 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by RE/MAX Advanced Realty, Indy Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Oh, I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it. Happy Festivus. Happy Festivus. I don't know if that's Festivus music or not. But if you're...
Yeah, the timing on that, I probably could have done a more angry, like a Mr. Grinch Christmas song is what I should have done. Right there.
Who knows what Festivus music is like. Doesn't mean Festivus is necessarily negative, but happy Festivus. And if you have lived under a rock and have no idea what Festivus is, the originator of this iconic celebration, none other than Frank Costanza, George Costanza's dad on Seinfeld, many Christmases ago. He tells the story. I went to buy a doll for my son. I reached for the last one they had, but so did another man. As our rain blows down upon him, I realized there had to be another way. So the idea of Festivus was created. And you know, the idea of Festivus was originally created in 1966 by Daniel O'Keefe, the father of Dan O'Keefe, one of the Seinfeld writers. That'd be cool. I'm going to have to read about that. But Festivus is one day long. It's today only. It involves two things. Anybody can celebrate. No religious ties, business, doesn't matter. Master's degree, no degree, 25 degrees, in sync, doesn't matter. They can all, but you need an aluminum pole because you have the airing of grievances and the feats of strength, and you need the pole has to be aluminum for its strength, according to George Costanza. Can we play this?
Yo, Dad, this is my boss, Mr. Kruger. Have you seen the pole, Kruger? No, he doesn't need to see the pole. He's going to see it. It's made from aluminum. Very high strength to weight ratio.
Oh, man. There you go. That should be under the time limit. We should be fine. You got to be careful in playing those clips, but here's an even better one.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it. You, Kruger, my son tells me your company stinks.
Oh, God.
Why? You'll get yours in a minute. Kruger, you...
Oh, man.
You couldn't smooth a silk sheet if you had a hot date with a babe. I lost my train of thought.
That sounds like me. I lost my train of thought. What are your grievances? Hit up on the Andy Moore Honda hotline, as a matter of fact.
There you go. That's
hey, how about? Yeah. Hey, how about this? Great one. I saw this yesterday. 2022 Bloomington North quarterback Reese Lozano commits to Indiana as a preferred walk-on. This is a very cool story for a couple of reasons. Number one, Bloomington North kid. Number two, Kit Klingelhofer, who was a professor of mine at IU, was a former sports information director at IU, and is also getting laid up, getting better right now. So Kit, been thinking about you, brother. Hope you're doing much better. But so he worked for Indiana for over 30 years. So that's awesome to see. So congratulations. And I guarantee you, Reese couldn't be happier. And what a story. How crazy would that be with the issues that Indiana has had at quarterback, with the craziness of picking the wrong guy, not necessarily picking the wrong guys. I just don't think that they've developed them. But what if this dude turns out to be the guy? Because last year, Grant Grimmel played the best that I saw of all four quarterbacks that played. It doesn't mean he was great, but he looked more confident and he had more success throwing the ball than anybody else. Why was that?
You got nothing to lose. I mean, in my opinion, think about when you come into at that point, and especially when he was playing, Indiana really wasn't playing for anything. So what is there to lose? At some point you just kind of go out there and play, right? Like this probably the opportunity of a lifetime for him. Some of those other guys might be looking over their shoulder. Okay, I got to play well I want to win the starting job. That may not be at the forefront of his mind. He's just, he's happy to go play. And so I think that there is a benefit to that. We see it in other leagues all the time. The NBA is a really good example, is that, you get some of these guys who some of the starters might be out, and then you get a 12th or 13th guy on here. And sometimes when he's on the floor, he goes off for 15, 20 points because he's trying to make a roster spot. So he's really got nothing to lose. I think that plays a factor, especially, again, it wasn't like Indiana was contending for a bowl game. It wasn't like Indiana was a top 25 team. Then I think there might've been some nerves that came in, but nothing to lose. The kid probably didn't think he was going to play at all this season. Maybe not even for a couple seasons. So just at some point, it's just go out there and play. Plus the fact that he really wasn't going to do any worse than what had happened through the first, whatever it was, 9-10 games of the season.
Nope. The Powerball jackpot's up to $400 million.
Oh boy.
cash option, 292. So you cut that in half, figure you win 150, take another 50 off for taxes. I'll take $100 million, baby.
I'll take $1 million.
Me too. But could you imagine, holy S, winning $100 million? It would be just nuts. I wouldn't tell anybody. I would try to keep it a secret. I really would.
I wouldn't meet with.
What happened to the airing of grievances? Sorry to interrupt. I thought we were going to do some of that.
I didn't win the lottery. That's a problem. I haven't won the. I got a lot of problems with you people. No. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's start with IU fans. IU basketball fans. Chill out. Relax. Wait a minute. They played 12 games. Think about hearing people talk about Tom Izzo's teams. How, oh man, wait till March. Why? Because they get better. All these other teams, wait till March. Why? Because they get better. Well, those were teams that had been together already too. Indiana's a team, and many other teams are like that now, but Indiana's a team of faces that have not been together, haven't played together. They're still learning to play together. Miller Kopp played on a different team. Xavier Johnson played on a different team. Parker Stewart didn't play on a team last year. Played on a different team before that. Michael Durr played on a different team. Have I missed anyone?
I don't.
Of consequence? So and now Rob Finney started. He's not starting. Different role, different offense. Everything's different. The defense is different. So you got all this stuff. It's just not there yet, man. It's just not there yet. Will it be? I don't know. But guess what? You can't complain about it not being there yet. We've seen the fact that they can do it. That half against Wisconsin was a thing of beauty.
Right.
I think they get in their head. Last night was another example. I mean, at one point, what was the biggest lead they had last night? Oh man, we usually have a largest lead category.
Not today. There's another airing of grievances.
They were up by 28 with 10 minutes to go in the freaking second half. At 63-35. From that point forward, Indiana would score 16 points, and Northern Kentucky would score like 26. So, but, like I said, they made a little run there. But it just seems like we kind of keep seeing that second half stuff from Indiana, whether they're up on a good team that they're beating or a team that they lose to. The second half is they haven't learned to put their foot on the throat of their opponent. Now, yes, did they beat the crap out of this team? Yeah, and they probably could have beat them worse because it's probably hard to stay locked in. I'll be honest with you. It was a Christmas game. It was just pitch and catch, throw it inside to Trace Jackson Davis. Let him knock down 9 of 11 shots. Let Race Thompson knock down 7 of 9 shots. I mean, that's 80%, guys. They were 16 of 20 between the two of them.
I just think
35 points.
I just think when you go back to the Wisconsin and the Syracuse games, it's still evident to me, and they're going to have to win a close game
on the road.
Well, they got to win a close game, period. Like some of these games, like Eastern Michigan and Marshall, I think are the two that stand out where they had a big lead and kind of let those teams come back in, or maybe St. John's was another example. But I just think that you still have some of that mentality from the Archie Miller that's trickling over. And I think if they win one of those close games where they're able to pull it out, then I think you're going to see the mentality of the team change. That's what happens so frequently. But right now there's still some of those lasting effects of having such big leads and then blowing in the second half so many times. This is still a team learning how to win. I know that they're 10-2 at this point, 9-2, whatever the record is. But especially in the Big Ten, they're going to have to win some of those games. I don't even think it matters who it's against. If you get into a tight game with Rutgers or you get a tight game with Nebraska, whatever the case might be, just winning one of those games where you have to figure out how to close, I think that's going to do a big service to the mentality of this entire team.
I agree with that. Another grievance, the Indiana football team. Let's just be blunt. You sucked it up, baby. You stunk it up out there this year. I don't know how much blame I want to put on the players, but they definitely deserve a portion of the blame. There's no way to place this in one place. This was not Nick Sheridan's fault. He was a big part of it. Well, the offense and the failures there, I blame on him because of having no creativity. I don't think he can think outside of the box. I don't think that he can manage. I don't think that he can recognize trends, see what's going on, make adjustments. I don't think that the quarterbacks I don't think that they improved one bit. I don't think that there was 1 ounce of improvement in Indiana's quarterbacks over the last 2 years. And as a matter of fact, I think that they have regressed. Go ahead.
You know what's going to be interesting is to see what Michael Penix does at Washington. That's what I'm curious to see.
I've thought about that because
does he look like he did in 2020?
I have a lot of confidence that Kalen DeBoer is going to make him a very, very confident guy again.
Right. And that's what I think is going to be interesting. And there's no going back, but I guess it just further proves the point that Nick Sheridan wasn't the right guy. But you've already let him go. So I don't know but it's just going to be interesting to me to see, was this more of a player confidence? Was this an injury issue? Or was it simply this was wrong fit, not getting developed, the system, or what? Maybe it was a combination of all those things. I don't know. I don't expect Michael Penix to be the kind of quarterback we were talking about coming into this season where he's considered a Heisman contender. I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, he's lost all that because of the season that he had.
But I do think that he can get back to where he was, 15 touchdowns, 5 or 6 interceptions, where he's completing, 60% of his passes. And especially in the Pac-12, that can win you a lot of games. You can get 7, 8, 9 wins playing that way. So that's what's going to be interesting to me. I don't know what they return. I don't know how good Washington's going to be. I didn't pay much attention to them this year, but that's the one thing that I'm going to be curious to see going into next season is what does Michael Penix look like in 2021 back playing for Kalen DeBoer?
I agree, and I think it's going to be – here's the thing. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. There's no debating that. I knew this was a crap hire 2 years ago the instant I heard it. I just couldn't believe that Indiana made that. I could, but I just shook my head and like, why? You were in position to elevate yourself, and you don't. You degrade yourself. Why is it? What did you think of this hire 2 years ago?
I thought they could have had somebody more notable, somebody who had proven themselves.
So what you're saying, it wasn't a good hire. You thought it was not a good hire 2 years ago.
I didn't think so.
The reason I'm asking that is why is it that me and you and other people knew this was a sucky hire? Okay, then why is that hire being made when the people that make that hire should have known that? That's the deal that I really, it aggravates me because that keeps programs spinning wheels. You cannot go forward. Indiana was in a position to propel that program to a level. Everybody says, well, they did. No, they didn't. They hit a big blip.
They did.
And so now to sustain that, and you look at Rutgers, you look at Illinois, look at Michigan State, teams that are trying to sustain growth, Indiana, and look what Indiana does. And they did it from the inside out, and that's what is so maddening.
Well, I think we've talked about it before, right? It's Tom Allen's loyalty, and there is some value to him being loyal to certain guys, but at the same time, you have to be able to look your guys in the eye and say, "I don't think
where's
you're
the loyalty to the loyalty to the team, loyalty to the people that pay you."
And I think that there was also, I think that I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to say manipulation, but I think that there was a sense of control. I think Tom Allen really liked what Kalen DeBoer brought to Indiana, and he wanted to
Of course he did. He brought success, and Tom Allen is not an offensive guy, so he doesn't know anything about that. And he's great. He is great. He said he wanted a head coach on this. That's what he had, basically.
But what he also said after DeBoer left was, I don't want to change the offense too much. So I knew why in internal hire, because he thought that Nick Sheridan would be able to, after running that, learning under him for a full season, would be able to replicate that sort of success.
And that's I'm just telling you. I know that, but that's a bunch of crap. And I know that, and you know that. It doesn't matter what the system is. It's not matter what the system is. Because you could put the system in, you can call this play, but when you see X and you need to make adjustments, but you don't have that ability because you just don't have that ability, it's pointless. Right. Somebody could give you a chart full of plays, but if you don't know when to call them, it doesn't do any good. Or when not to call them, it doesn't do any good. And I don't get that. That's too, the money is too high now. The expectations are too high. You can't do anything on loyalty. Just loyalty doesn't. What does that get you? It got you 2-10 seasons is what it got you. And I love Tom Allen. Don't get me wrong. But I praise him all the time. And so to be an honest and open and the unbiased person that I like to think that I am, I'm going to criticize when they need criticized. And they need criticized because that 2-10 season should never have happened. They should have beaten Cincinnati. Cincinnati is an overhyped, not as good. They're just overhyped. Michigan State, they should have beat. Well, Indiana should have beat them. They should have lost to Indiana, and Indiana was not that good. Michigan State, Indiana should have beat them. They were overhyped. They're not that good, but Indiana just didn't have enough of anything to beat the teams they should have and could have beaten.
And Indiana should have beat Maryland, right?
You know what? I don't remember. Should have?
It was.
On paper they should have.
I think was the score. You know what this kills? Your argument that the East is so much better than the West.
Why? Just because Indiana had
because Indiana should have beaten all these teams, mighty Michigan State, Maryland, all these bowl eligible teams.
But because Indiana should have been better.
That still puts them at 5 wins.
No, they would have won more. They would have won more. They would have won other games. If they're winning those games, they would have won one other game. I mean, I think that they beat Minnesota.
Oh no! No!
The defense, if they're playing like they should have been playing to beat Cincinnati and Michigan State, the defense at the end of the year just, all right, John's killing me. He's going to hit me. He's going to punch me in the face. We got to take a break. We got more grievances. It's Festivus. We'll get to you, Michelle. She's got her grievance. We'll be back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Dustin Schutte's on from Saturday Tradition. Back after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle. Presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
If you're in the market for that was great too, dude. A 10-year-old kid hit a full court putt last night for $1,000 into a hole. It was probably about 6 inches wide and 2 inches tall.
At Indiana? The Indiana game?
Yes, last night.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know if he had 2 shots at it because there were 2. I think it may have been 2 different people. The first person missed it by like that far. And so you're watching these putts, and I'm going to tell this story on the air, but they're traveling. They're not going fast. It's just like he hit a PGA putt that had that speed that never stopped, the same speed, but it never stopped, right to the hole. and the crowd went nuts. The funny thing is the reaction of the kid. He's like, yeah.
They must have some magnets in them balls.
I wish we could get that. Now that would be a great.
By the way, I couldn't find the Tom Crean or the ETSU shot. I did look for that. Make sure you let Dustin air his grievances, by the way.
We got.
I don't know what I have. It's too early for me to have grievances.
Man,
I should have made the. I should have made the 10-10 segment the airing of grievances.
We might have Alec on for 10-10. He's gonna let me know in about 25 minutes if he's available. But he couldn't do 9:50. But he said he might be able to do because he's in a meeting right now. But he said he might get done with it in time to be on at 10:10.
I'm going to have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the game day experience. That's another grievance.
Oh, shoot. It just left me. I wanted to say it off the air first. What was my grievance? I had two. This is the one I'm thinking of right now, but this isn't what I just lost out of my head. But the bitching about the announcers, that's been getting on my nerves. Everybody thinking Stephen Bardo is out to get Indiana. That's one of mine. That's not the one that I just lost out of my head, though.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's out to get Indiana, but I'm sure he doesn't like Indiana. He played for Illinois.
Yeah, but he doesn't act like it. People just think it's like when Robbie Hummel does games.
Oh, people are just.
We're at 10 seconds.
Now there are
Sizemore, from Remax Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. It is Festivus. Happy Festivus. I'm trying to find a copy of that putt that was sent to me, apparently, but I don't know where. Let's see.
I was dancing like Brian Kelly.
Yep, I don't know where that is.
Your family?
My family.
Like
Ross, I don't know where that. Ross, I don't see that, so I don't know where that is. I will keep looking for it. He sent that video, the putting video, so that would be cool. If I get that, I will send it on to Johnny Boy. Transfers. What are we doing? Airing of grievances? Or are we waiting on that? Where am I, John?
I mean, it's up to you. There's no real schedule, honestly, today now anymore because of all of the flip-flopping and schedule.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, it's like bowl game opt-outs, except this is pre-Christmas opt-outs.
Radio show opt-outs.
Yeah.
Tim sending me some bourbon balls. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Also points out 7 Colts make the Pro Bowl, most of any other team. Little surprising.
And Jonathan Taylor, the highest vote getter among fans.
Well, as he should be. I mean, and that should tell the MVP voters something, because we've been having a lot of discussion about the potential of him being an MVP, man. David asked earlier, what do we think about A&M bailing on the Gator Bowl? Not enough scholarship players available. Must make walk-ons feel irrelevant. Why not go to the stinking game? Just because you think you're going to lose? Doesn't matter. You got the freaking #1 recruiting class coming in. You're going to kick the snot out of people for the next couple of years.
I tell you, what's interesting is they left a $5.3 million check on the table. I mean, I know that A&M doesn't need that, but still.
That's chump change to them. And imagine that, though. Chump change. A Gator Bowl. Indiana appeared in a Gator Bowl 2 years ago, and they would have crawled on their hands and knees to get there.
Right.
Rutgers gets to go to the freaking Gator Bowl, and they're moonwalking in backwards.
They are, yeah.
What's up? That just. How about IUPUI upsetting number 15 Iowa last night?
I didn't know that. I didn't watch much basketball last night. I'm going to be honest.
You know what? I hate when I go onto a page to look at something and a commercial just comes on, and it comes on into my headphones. You all can't hear it, luckily. But I'm thinking John's playing something, so I'm looking. I'm like, what the hell?
Wait, what? Was this in women's basketball, maybe? Do we know?
Yeah, Iowa did not play last night, and their last game was the day before, and they beat Southeastern Louisiana. So
Tim, I don't know what you're talking about there, brother.
Women's
maybe it was women's. I don't know.
Because Iowa's not even in the top 25 in men's. So
let's see here.
You're killing me. Notre Dame did get a win now after losing to Indiana. They come back and beat Texas A&M CC. What is that?
He's talking women's basketball.
Nice. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi.
Okay, yeah.
Rice Krispies.
Yeah, Tim, if you're talking giving scores and it's a women's game, you're going to have to specify that. Tim saying he thought you had to have 6 wins to get into a bowl game. Well, when you don't have teams that have 6 wins, you go down to those that have 5 and 7. And that's exactly where they are, especially now with the opt-outs. I'm surprised. Is Texas A&M the only team that's opted out of a bowl game so far?
As far as I know, yes.
I'm surprised we haven't seen another. Who's to say we won't, because we haven't seen the bulk of the bowl games yet.
Right.
Especially
no Big Ten bowl games.
I mean, you mentioned Georgia earlier having some guys. This could impact the national championship playoffs.
It could. And they even put out a statement that, there's going to be forfeit rules. If 3 teams are hit at the same time, then you're going to declare one team a champion. I don't think we need to do any of that. I understand you need to have a plan in place. This is going to be one of my grievances, by the way. But you had teams get through. Think about this. You had teams get through the entire season, and you have a forfeit rule in. You can't delay this a couple weeks to January to get these things played. Think last year you had the players, coaches, families, trainers, staff, everybody sacrifice everything to get through the 2020 season when the situation was more unknown and was worse. We were able to play a fairly successful, I think 75% of the games were played. And we're talking about we can't squeeze in 2 games. You have a forfeit rule for this? That's not right, in my opinion.
No, but it's the easiest. It's the easiest path.
Well, I understand, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I didn't mean I agreed with it. I meant they're just taking the easiest path.
Yeah,
and that's what makes no sense. Ridiculous about it. Well, of course, it doesn't make sense.
You're telling me we can't delay this by a week or 2, and I know I'm sure there's certain
football coaches. Football coaches are the worst in all of sports, in my opinion, as far as making adjustments. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. No. We have to have this much time. I just think football coaches are less to. They just seem like the model that they have cannot be altered in any way, and it's just nuts. I'm like going, yes, it can. Yes, it really can. But that's not going to change.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's to the point where it's not impacting many other games or any other game, to be quite honest with you, but we'll see what happens. I thought that was kind of a cowardly way out. You're just going to say forfeit when these teams busted their butt all season to get to this point, and you're just going to rob them of the opportunity to compete for a national championship. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, how about Minnesota? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, not a lot of things that they do make sense to me. So that's par for the course.
Hey, Minnesota basketball. I'll talk about this more if Alec comes on. They're 10-1, man.
Yeah.
They fire Richard Pitino, and it's Minnesota, and they're freaking 10-1 right now.
And by the way, have you seen some of the play? Like Ben Johnson is a X and O genius. Some of the sets that they run, some of the inbounds plays, I mean, it's beautiful basketball to watch. I don't know that they'll be able to sustain it when the run of the Big Ten season comes. But this was a team we thought would maybe finish last or near the bottom of the Big Ten. They're playing really good basketball right now.
Hey, Kennesaw State went out to Omaha.
Let's not.
Omaha or Lincoln rather. Actually, they only lost 88-74, so it's not like they got killed.
They did get killed.
They're a 4-8 team, and they're 0-6 on the road. It was a money game. They went and got paid, and they only lost by 14 points to a Big Ten
here's
team.
The thing. So first of all, Kennesaw State, there's nobody that's going to listen to this that cares what I think about this. But they went on the road. They played Creighton really well early in the season. They should have beaten Samford. They should have beaten Mercer. Nebraska was one of the worst shooting teams in the country from behind the arc. And I don't remember how they were on fire. Kennesaw State could not stop them at all. I mean, it was, of course, the one game that Nebraska shoots the ball well is the one I have interest in. Okay, that's enough Kennesaw State basketball because literally nobody listening to this cares.
Does anybody listen anywhere care about that? Just kidding.
You know what?
Just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, Howard Payne, do you know him?
Howard Payne?
Yeah, he played UT Arlington last night. He got crushed 95-46.
I did not know him.
Just kidding. It's the name of the
school.
He related
to Robert Morris?
More like Sergeant Payne. I don't know. Just kidding. Illinois also played. How about Missouri? Rough night for Missouri. Illinois crushes them 88-63, and it wasn't really that close in basketball.
And then
Illinois now 9-3, and then you go into what bowl game was that?
The Armed Forces Bowl.
Of course, the Armed Forces Bowl, where they were taking on Army, where Army went originally, maybe not, but of late, Army was a 4-point favorite. Then they became a 7-point favorite. And then they didn't need the 7 points because what did they end up winning by? What was that final score? Let's see. Roll down, quit jumping back up. Oh, man. Where? I don't see it.
The final score?
Yeah. Oh, it is. Oh, it was a damn close game, actually.
Yeah.
Missouri ends up, well, Army had to score 10 in the fourth quarter to win that game. Wow. But they lose. Army wins. They
won on the last second field goal.
How about that? Missouri was losing that game most of the way.
They missed on a. They missed. They had a wide open. There was a 2-point conversion. I'm not sure how the quarterback missed. Maybe it was more off target or whatever than I saw on the TV. But there was a wide open receiver for a 2-point conversion, and that would have the game would have went into overtime, assuming everything played out the way it did. But I mean, it was just a bad 2-point conversion, just miscommunication or bad throw. I don't know what the situation was, but. Yeah, not a good night for Missouri or the SEC. Basically, they're 0-2 in the bowl games if you count Texas A&M not being able to play.
Got to count it.
Well, and Florida plays UCF tonight, so they, maybe 0-3.
Let's see. Also in bowl games yesterday, ones you probably don't care about. Wyoming beat Kent State 52-38 in the Ugly Uniforms Bowl.
Oh, stop.
I mean, I love Wyoming. Because the Wyoming Cowboys, now the uniforms aren't great, that mustard yellow and brown, that's about as ugly as it gets. They need to energize the yellow, I think. But Kent State are the Flashes. You can't be the Flashes and not be flashy.
They're the golden flash.
I don't care what color. You still make it flashy. They are not flashy. They have some dull uniforms, man. If you're the flat, make it flash. If you're the flashes, baby. I'm just saying.
Live up to the name.
Exactly. They got destroyed 52.
It looked like, I thought it looked very appropriate, given it was the Potato Bowl, and it looked like there was a bunch of potatoes on the field.
Well, they were after they dumped that cooler full on the coach's head. We got to take a break. San Diego State beat the University of Texas San Antonio in the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. What the hell? Is that two different names?
No.
The Tropical Smoothie
Frisco Bowl.
Frisco Bowl. Okay, but what's Frisco? That's not
the city they played
in
Texas, Frisco, Texas.
Oh, okay. That makes
it still sounds like something you'd put in a smoothie, though, so I don't blame you for thinking that.
Well, now and then Tulsa wins the Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Tax Act. I like keeping the bowl name in front, but I've never heard of the Myrtle Beach Bowl. But that's got to be sponsored. I guarantee you that's sponsored by the city of Myrtle Beach. And so you have multiple sponsors. Now they're getting multiple sponsors on the names of these bowls. That sucks. I want the name of the bowl first, and then you have the sponsor. Sun Bowl, brought to you by blank. Peach Bowl, brought to you by blank. Whatever it is. Orange Bowl.
Chick-fil-A.
Peach Bowl.
The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, probably one of the most
there you go
names right there. Or the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. You got the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl this year too.
I hate it.
Oh, God. Yeah,
the Sun, it should be the Sun Bowl. Who's the Sun Bowl?
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger.
Not even Kellogg's. The Tiger.
It's not even Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, which is the damn product. It's a character from the product.
Do they get a nice box of Frosted
next
Flakes
year,
if they win?
I think we should put our name on a bowl game next year.
The Indiana Sports Beat. What? So if Indiana's 2-10, they get to play in it against someone else who's 2-10, like UMass.
Yeah, that'd be like the toilet bowl. Call that the toilet bowl.
And then afterward, you invite Walt Bell to be your offensive coordinator.
How would we phrase that? Indiana Sports Everybody Beat Us Bowl? If it's 2-10 teams?
Jesus.
Could be. Hey, that's something we haven't talked about with you. When we come back, we will. Walt Bell, OC at Indiana.
Oh, okay.
It's been his hire has brought very little comments from the media. I haven't commented. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm going long. We'll talk about it when we come back. We got to take a break. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio. It's Happy Festivus Day. Back right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration.
I still can't think of what my grievance was, which I feel stupid about because I thought it was really good.
I like how Western Kentucky has their site set up here. It tells you how many years the kid's been at Western Kentucky, how many years they've been at college football, and how much eligibility they have remaining. That is a thing of beauty.
You mean their athletic website?
Yeah. I'm getting this story up on a transfer.
Have they hired a new OC yet? I mean, I'm sure they're not bringing in anybody.
What site is that? Is that just
already proven? But
is that just the new football? I mean, is that just their football or all of theirs like that?
Well, I'm only looking at the football.
Football.
What site is it?
It's WKUsports.com.
And then you just go to football.
Mm-hmm.
Who's their transfer?
It's Beanie Bishop is headed to Minnesota.
Beanie Bishop.
Beanie Bishop. All right, so I'm at WKU, and what do I need to go look for?
Player.
What's that?
Player.
player.
What are you trying to do?
Oh, sports. Here we go. Baseball, basketball. Where the football? Okay. Where did you find that? By going under players?
Yeah, I just clicked on this guy's name's Beanie Bishop.
All right, here's the roster. It looks just like Indiana's. Where are you finding that? I got to go back. You click on the Indiana player?
Oh, but
are you
like
clicking on
training video right now?
Yeah, I click on the player, and then on their bio, it has their distinction.
Oh yeah, Indiana has that.
They have the how much eligibility left?
They list them both ways.
They're right. Their columns right next to each other.
It'll be like freshman. They'll have a freshman / sophomore.
Ah, gotcha.
I don't understand how Race Thompson, if he stayed, would he play for a 6th year or a 7th year?
Yes. Everybody that was here during COVID has an extra year.
I know, but I guess I just thought that it already happened. I don't know. Here we go.
Honda.com. Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. Happy Festivus to everybody. Thursday, December 23rd. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Dustin Schutte from Saturday Tradition joining me as always. Make sure you give him a follow there at Schutte CFB. He is on the forefront of college football. They do a great job covering the Big Ten, as does the Hoosier.com, who focuses on the Indiana Hoosiers, Indiana rivals. Make sure you go there as well. Luckily, not a ton that we have to do. You more than me, but it's gonna be a nice break for me for the next week. I'm not gonna lie. Indiana played last night. They don't play again until next Wednesday. I wish they didn't play next Wednesday, to be honest with you. And no football, could have shot through this whole thing. That would have just been magical. But it's all right. It's still a nice little break to have. I have to be honest with you.
It is nice. It's always nice. We talk about this even in the summer because when things get ramped up, there's no end in sight basically till the end of the academic year. So it's always nice to have that little, even if it's just a few days to relax, kick your feet up, watch some bowl games that have no relevance to us, and just enjoy the holidays. And, like I said, I'm not complaining. I love my job. I love doing what I'm doing. Wouldn't want to be doing anything else. But at the same time, we do work hard, and we should get a break every now and then.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with someone yesterday, which I'm not complaining, but, this show was 5 to 6 hours a day of work, prep, post, et cetera. Well, you add a game to that. A football game itself is an 8-hour day.
Right.
That is an 8-hour day. Football games last forever. You got to be there on the front end before, and then afterwards, it's another couple of hours. And basketball, that's a 5-hour day. So, yeah, they get long. And I know I'm not complaining. Like I said, this is getting to do what you love to do is the greatest thing in the world. So it could be digging ditches, but it ain't all glamour. Let me tell you that. There ain't no glamour here.
Yeah, we're not just sitting. We do need to clarify that it is not just sitting eating hot wings and drinking beer while we watch games and then yell at our TVs. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I think sometimes people don't understand that part of it.
Well, and the travel.
Yeah.
The nonstop travel. That's a pain as well because a lot of us go to away games. Iowa, Nebraska, those trips are rough. And Now, Indiana plays Nebraska in football next year, I noticed. Oddly, and they go back to Nebraska. John, are we after another?
That's right. In the battle for Chucky the Doll. I just had to throw that in there because I am the top. I know what the word is. That's what I'm advocating for. I want Indiana, Nebraska to have a rivalry trophy as Chucky the Doll in tribute to what Whop Philliard started whenever he got that going and they last played in Lincoln and all that.
That'll never happen.
Oh, of course,
that'll never happen.
But it should be unofficial.
Indiana should take the Chucky doll, though. It's not Chucky the doll, by the way. It's Chucky. It's just Chucky.
What's it matter? Let's call it Chucky the doll.
Because who says he's a doll?
The trophy.
Who says
he's a doll? Yeah, you said he's a doll. Maybe he's not a doll.
But isn't that like I've never? You know what? I'm not gonna. Never mind.
He's done with you.
That doll's alive, man. Important for Indiana when they go back to Nebraska, to be honest with you, because that was the coming of age win for Indiana the last time they were there. Getting that victory, Tom Allen was pissed off because of some things that Scott Frost had said, and I don't even care about that stuff anymore now. But they're trying desperately. Next year is Scott Frost's last season, without question. He was forced to get rid of his entire offensive staff. And they are last in recruiting, man. Last in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's the thing that stood out to me, and I don't know if this is still true or not. I haven't looked at the recruiting rankings in about a week or so, but the thing that stood out to me was one of the areas that has been so subpar under Scott Frost has been the offensive line. And I understand that you can add some players through the transfer portal. You're going to have some guys that are going to take advantage of that extra COVID year. So you've got probably plenty of guys on the roster, but you've only recruited one offensive lineman. That's not how you win in the Big Ten. And to me, that's a problem.
Well, not only that, that reminds me of Indiana. One of their biggest problems was offensive line. With the veteran crew, which really made zero sense. You've got the same guys back and added to that a little bit via the transfer portal. They were horrible. No change made there. Very shocking to me, but I guess that's another loyalty move. That's one that we talked about right there. You look at other programs, 3 games in, they're firing a defensive coordinator. That's because they're like, nah, we're serious now.
Yeah.
And I don't advocate for people to be fired. I'm not saying it. Darren Hiller's a great guy. And maybe there's something that I don't know. But if this is just another loyalty thing, this is, again, why you can't get better.
Right.
I mean, why did Indiana's offensive line suck with the same guys who did so well that they gave up the least amount of sacks in the Big Ten the year before? And the next year, you can't put water in a sack. I mean, you couldn't sack a grocery bag.
Yeah, I don't know.
Understand that.
Yeah, that's one of the big. I mean, everything all around on the Big Ten side, on the offensive side was really bad for Indiana. I mean, you could put it on just about anybody: quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver, running back, the staff. It was just bad all around. So, and then you bring in Walt Bell, which was an underwhelming hire. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've yet to. I'm like nothing to comment. I have to wait and see what happens. Indiana's in desperate need of a quarterback. They don't have a starter to me. I mean, well, yes, Jack Tuttle is their starter, but if Walt Bell can do something with Jack Tuttle, but what's he going to do with that offensive line?
Right.
If you can't if you don't have time to throw the damn ball, I don't care who you are. He got hurt because they couldn't protect him. But then again, why was Grant Gremble able to get throws off?
Quicker release, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch some of the tape. I don't know. I don't know. I've not seen anything. This is going to sound bad. I don't know that I've seen anything from Jack Tuttle that tells me he's going to be a starter at this level.
No, me either. He shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. I think Indiana's in desperate need of a quarterback.
Right.
Desperate need. But I think part of that's because he was not developed. He was a top 11 quarterback, man.
Right.
He was special. So he's a talented kid. I think that I'm sorry, but I think the 2 years with Nick Sheridan stunted his growth.
That's probably true.
Are you going to tell me if he had been with Kalen DeBoer for those 2 years? I bet you he would probably be looking like a pro-style quarterback.
Well, he would probably be more serviceable. I guess that would be the word. I don't know what the right term is, but I don't know that he would be a high-level player, but he would probably he would look a lot better than he does right now, would be my guess.
I didn't want to miss Michelle. She had her grievance earlier. Her grievance is when people complain about an easy basketball schedule, these coaches and players did not pick the schedule. I think it's going to get some wins under their belt and build confidence. Big Ten is here soon enough. There you go. It's pretty simple and straightforward. That schedule's already changing. You've added a home and home with Kansas. Mike Woodson is already said he's talked to the people at Madison Square Garden in New York. He wants to play some games there. You know, was with the Knicks, so he's got all those connections. That won't be a problem. That'll be a cool thing. That's what Indiana needs. Michigan has been the bell cow for Big Ten basketball. They have just been the team that everybody goes to if CBS wants a tournament, if they're going to play on a carrier. You know, it's Michigan State because they've been the best program of the last decade or more. It used to be Indiana, and you have no idea how badly they still want it to be Indiana. That's why in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, Indiana plays Duke multiple times and North Carolina. They want those marquee names.
Right.
They want the marquee names. Indiana needs to get back to being a marquee name. I mean, they are still a marquee name, but it's in name only right now.
Right. They're not playing at that level.
They need to get back to that because college basketball is better. I mean, how fun is it when Indiana and Kentucky are good and North Carolina is good and they're battling each other? You don't like that?
It doesn't matter. It does
matter.
Here's my
People
grievance.
People want marquee teams.
I don't think sports are better when a certain team is good or bad. When people say college football is better when Texas is good or when USC is good, why does it matter? To me, it doesn't matter one bit. And that goes across all sports. NBA, college basketball, college football, NFL. It doesn't matter to me which teams are good. Like, I just like seeing a good product. I don't care who the name on the front of the jersey is. Like, how fun was it when Steph Curry was at Davidson? I think Gonzaga is fun to watch. Baylor, like, you have those teams. It's just fun basketball. I don't care whose name's on it. I mean, I understand from your standpoint of where probably more casual fans are going to tune into North Carolina, Indiana because of the name recognition. More fans, more casual fans in college football are going to tune into, a USC UCLA game than they are an Illinois, Michigan State or whatever. But I don't think diehard fans care that much about that. I don't think it makes the sport better. I think it just is maybe more appealing to a wider audience.
It's like with Tigers playing on Sunday, the ratings skyrocket.
Yeah, that's
golf.
True.
Simply because he's playing. And there are people that will watch that are either a very casual golfer. They're probably a very casual golfer. A non-golfer's probably not going to watch, but that very casual golfer, maybe, but that very casual golfer was probably not going to watch, and you get several more just because of that.
Right.
That's why, but you look at all the highest rated games, no matter the sport, it's not going to be McNeese State and Mississippi Valley State. Right. It's going to be Ohio State, Michigan. It's going to be the big names.
The ratings are better. I'll give you that. go under the notion that a sport is better when certain teams are good. I think that it helps in terms of television market. It helps a conference or it helps a program or whatever the case might be. But in terms of the overall product, that's the same. Like, that's a great comparison with Tiger Woods. Yeah, when he's in the field, when he's competitive, everybody's watching. When he's not, the ratings plummet. But it doesn't make the golf better or worse.
No, I'm not saying it. Oh, I'm not saying
right.
That's
the point I'm. Yeah, that's the point I'm getting to. So we can.
Yeah,
we agree.
Let's see. Ross, pointed this out before I forget. This kid, did I mention that on the air? The kid that hit that damn. He said he texted that to me, and I never got it, Ross. I wish you could have seen that. It was a length of the court putt that he's like about a 10-year-old kid. He was under one basket, and the other deal was under the other basket. And you've got a 17, it wasn't quite 17,000, but you've got a pretty full Assembly Hall crowd. It was a great crowd last night, by the way. People in the balcony. But
that's rare for over the holiday break.
I'm telling you, I was like, wow. And the first dude, he may have been a kid. I can't remember. I didn't see him, but I just saw the shot. I was busy, and I look up and barely missed. And it's just a 2-inch tall by about a 6-inch slot that they're hitting at that's square under the basket. Then the second kid gets up there, a little 10-year-old kid in candy striped pants. The funny thing is, I'm like, look at that little turd. He was standing over that putt. You could tell. He's no rookie. He knew what he was doing. He stood over that putt. I mean, like 10 years old. Boom, and he hits it, and it looked like an LP or a PGA event. The ball was the same speed. Didn't take off fast, didn't get fast, same speed all the way across that Assembly Hall floor, right into that slot. Nailed it for $1,000. How long's the basketball court? 92 feet?
Is it 84?
I forget, but
I thought college was 84 and NBA was 94. I could be wrong.
I'm about to have the clip uploaded.
Oh, that would be good. But that's a long dude.
Yeah.
There are no putts in golf that long. You cannot hit. That's probably not true. They probably.
What do you think the longest putt? I'm going to look this up.
As soon as that I was thinking that very thing. You got it. You look it up. That
longest putt ever made.
Because it would take a big green to be able to have that much room. I'm sure there's several that have dropped in from way out.
So
go ahead, Dustin.
According to Google.com, the Guinness Book of World Records recognizes Jack Nicklaus's putt in the 1964 Tournament of Champions as the longest ever made at 110 feet.
Wow. Did not know that. You learn something new every day, and I love that.
All right, here comes we got the clip of the Assembly Hall putt from last night, and then Jim, if you want to take us to break after that, that would be good timing. But here we go.
Will do.
Now we get ready for Ryan with his attack. It's got a nice line down the middle.
That's awesome.
This is where the reaction of that kid was the best part, and it could have gone on because he didn't stop. He was walking off and pumping his fist, and one dude held him up in the air. It was just, and then somebody sent me it was a tweet, a message of. I get messages too many different forms to remember, but that their son, I think, plays golf with him, and that he is basically a stud on the links.
Well, there you go.
And I just noticed one thing. He's left-handed.
And he
made that putt.
And in front of a huge crowd.
Made that Didn't even bother him. He didn't care. He was pumping it up. We got to go to break. John to get mad. We're back with more. It's Festivus, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Back after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration.
I'm playing golf tomorrow.
I'm playing golf tomorrow.
That's probably what he sounds like if he would tell you he's playing golf tomorrow.
I'm playing golf tomorrow. Hey, boys, can you get up the tee box, please? I think we're up now.
Little lollipop kids.
Billy, bring the cart up, will you? My short club's in there.
It don't matter what club I use. It's going the opposite direction of where I'm aiming.
Dustin, thank God we had you today, because I don't know if we've ever had every guest cancel in the same day.
You know what's hilarious is I completely forgot about the show until
I emailed you. I was 90% expecting you to text me at like 8 o'clock saying you weren't going to be here.
Well, the thing is I woke up at 7:45 this morning, but I set my alarm because I was up at 4:30 yesterday, had to drive all the way to Florida and was up till about midnight last night. I set my alarm for 8:30, not realizing we had a show today. So I woke up 45 minutes early. And that's when my brother was like, "Are you doing your show today?" And I'm like, "Oh, F." Yep.
I'm glad you're here. I mean, not that it would have been not that it would have been bad for Jim and I to do it but I mean, we would have had zero guests for 2 hours.
Yes, it would have been bad.
Why would it have been so bad? Why couldn't you and I have talked about the same thing you and Dustin are talking about?
Oh, I'm not saying about you. It's just different. You don't have the information that he has.
That's true.
Well,
you add in a third manner.
He's the Big Ten expert.
That he is, and college football overall.
Sounds like somebody's burning our house down.
Caleb said that college basketball is only good when Indiana's good.
Hey, that's fair. Hey, I don't mind him saying that from the fans' perspective.
What's that?
I'll tell you what, obviously, I feel like I've said this a million times before, but when I was down covering Western, it was all during the Archie Miller era. I couldn't have cared less about Indiana basketball. One, because WKU was pretty good, and two, Indiana was god awful.
Were you there when they beat Purdue in that tournament? Were you covering it?
I wasn't covering that specifically, but I was at WKU at the time. The biggest thing I ever covered for the basketball team was when I went down to the CUSA tournament my senior year, which is pretty cool. They lost to Marshall or Old Dominion. Old Dominion's who they lost to in the championship. All right. Oh, shoot. Here we go. We're coming back.
Radio.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. Happy Festivus. Jim Coyle with you here on this Festivus Day, December 23rd, Thursday, 2021, as the year is counting down. The great Dustin Schutte from Saturday Tradition is with me, as usual. A sad note, Robbie Roper, a class of 2022 recruit quarterback in Roswell, Georgia, died on Wednesday, 18, just from complications from surgery, was a dual threat quarterback, 3.9 GPA, 6'4", 215. Man, that just thoughts and prayers, of course, out to that family. Man, I can't imagine that. And then having to make a statement because your son was being recruited and all that, and have to, because if something happened like that to me, the last thing, and it's kind of funny because people probably think opposite, but the last thing is you're not going to hear it from me. You're not going to hear it from me. You're not going to hear me talk about it. You're not going to see it. You're not going to know it. You're going to have to find out some other way. Yeah. If I have cancer and I'm dying, you better have an investigative reporter, because it's not coming out of my mouth. I'm just not. I'm not saying the other way's bad. It's just that's just not. I can't do that. I can't imagine having. They had to do that because of his higher profile. But man, he was a pro-style quarterback recruit, according to Rivals, threw for over 3,000 yards and 37 touchdowns in 2021. He was named the Georgia Region 5 Class 7A Player of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, just incredibly sad. And it was a shoulder surgery too, from what I read. It's just something, everybody goes, a lot of players kind of go through something similar like that. So it's just devastating. So thoughts and prayers to his family and friends and everybody, because that's a tragic situation.
Yeah, it is. He's got a sister that plays softball at Ole Miss, but it just shows you. I mean, even common surgeries that are not even to do with anything to do with the heart or anything vital are all still serious, man. It's just crazy. Sad news there. Again, thoughts and prayers to their family. NFL, lots coming up, going on this week. How about the Colts, baby? Big win over the Patriots.
That was
Bill Belichick basically almost apologized. He did, I guess, almost. He did apologize, really, to the media. How has that ever happened? I don't recall him ever apologizing.
No. I don't either. That had to be a first, and he's had plenty of moments where he could have, but I don't recall him ever apologizing to reporters, or at least not in that kind of setting. Maybe he's reached out individually, but to do it in that, kick off his press conference this week.
I think that he knew that he might be getting a phone call from the office.
Oh yeah, that could be.
He didn't. Got another one of those commercials going on in my ear. Then I got to find the
source
page. This page that's open that's coming from. Luckily, I was able to find that. What is today? Today is Thursday. So in college football today, the bowl schedule has
Gorilla Bowl.
Oh baby, wait a minute. Why are you jumping to Friday?
Is that still the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, or what's it called?
It's not. It is the oh shoot. You would ask that. I just talked about it yesterday. Hold on. Hold please. It is it's the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. And also we've got this is the Frisco Football Classic presented by Ryan at 3:30. That's North Texas and Miami of Ohio.
The only thing I'm looking forward to is the Barstool Sports Bowl featuring a halftime performance by Creed's Scott Stapp. How against two group of 5 teams.
I knew Barstool was doing I didn't know, like Creed,
yes, not the whole band, but the lead singer of Creed and his new band, I guess, is doing a halftime performance at the Barstool Sports Bowl.
That is bound to be terrible.
When is that game?
I think it's right before it's the last bowl game before all the big bowls.
That's helpful.
So today you've got mighty North Texas at Miami of Ohio, in Frisco, Texas again, at Toyota Stadium. Is that soccer stadium?
It probably is. I don't know for sure.
Or maybe I'm thinking of that one in California.
No, I think they do.
Better game.
I think they play at a soccer stadium. Isn't that where the FCS championship game is every year? Or used to be. I don't know if it still is.
Maybe. UCF in Florida. Florida did not end the season well, but what do you think about this game?
Florida's got a ton of opt-outs. They have Dan Mullen obviously isn't coaching. I think UCF's going to win.
See, this sucks.
I agree.
You wait all year for these bowl games. Now you got players opting out, which is a load of crap. I hate it. You're quitting on your team. I don't give a crap that you're saving for the NFL. BS. Then don't play the whole damn year.
I think what they need to do is, I mean, I don't know how you would regulate this, but you can have some sort of, maybe there's some sort of incentive you can implement. But I think the big thing is also don't fire your coach midway through the season, or at least allow him, he has to finish the season or something like that. I mean, a lot of these games, so many players are, look at the Peach Bowl. Look at how fun that was going to be. And then Kenny Pickett opts out and Kenneth Walker opts out. And there's probably going to be more. I think there's another Pitt cornerback who's opted out. Wisconsin, Arizona State, they're going to be without their top two. Arizona State's going to be without their top 2 running backs, 2 cornerbacks, and that's their starting center. That's a slew of, that's injuries, that's NFL draft, that's transfer portal. So we don't even get a good gauge of how good these teams are outside of really the college football playoff. Like it's now become a glorified practice almost.
Well, and now the bowl games, and it has nothing to do with the college football playoffs. That's the thing. The people, the powers to be used to kept with this line of thinking that, oh, it's going to ruin the old bowl. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. People are still going to go to those games. It doesn't matter. Call it whatever the hell you want. Hell, you call it the Peekaboo Cherries Bowl. It doesn't matter. They change the name on these games, so why does it really matter? Where they're being played, what you call it, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change. If you're having a game, they're going to go.
Right.
If you're having a game in Tampa, they're going to go. So that line is crap, but this is killing. What's killing it is opt-outs, team opt-outs, COVID. Transfer portal. It's
coaches switching teams.
In the middle, it's another thing that drives me goddamn insane.
I thought we were gonna have to break out the bleep button.
Yeah, but then you'd say the teams couldn't fire coaches. It's got to be both ways. It can't be one way.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think there should be a period of time like you have NFL free agent or whatever, Black Monday in the NFL as they call it. But there should be a window where, okay, you can't make a decision on a coach until after this date. If your team is bowl eligible, it can't be till after your bowl game. If your team is at the end of the regular season, it can be after the final game, whatever the case might be.
I think that needs to be in a contract. They have to do that in a contract.
They would have to do that in a contract, but I don't know how you're going to be able to legislate any of that. And they would find some way to, I'm sure, then even more so, find reasonable cause to terminate a coach or a staff member, whatever the case might. I mean, it's snake oil, but.
Tim asks, has Lucas Oil ever hosted a bowl game? Not a bad question. No, but they've got one coming up.
The championship.
The national championship, the college football championship being played in January at Lucas Oil Stadium. Looking forward to that.
Here's my question. I know we have to go soon, but I hate that there are some bowl games in New York, Detroit, even Indianapolis. Like, to me, I think it should be warm weather. Texas, Florida.
I'm with you.
California.
The only one that I will leave is the Pinstripe Bowl because it's played at Yankees because it's played in Yankee Stadium. And I think that's the only cool. Those teams that are playing in that, they're not good. They're the lower rung bowls anyway. They don't deserve a warm bowl. So they can play in New York. You know what? Do you know how much I regret not going? I wasn't working in this position then, but not going to the 2015 Pinstripe Bowl when Indiana played Duke and got screwed on that. I really regret that.
Okay, here's what I would do. If I got an invitation to the Pinstripe Bowl, I would go to New York and not go to the game at all. I think New York around Christmas time would be cool to experience. I have no interest in watching a football game inside Yankee Stadium.
They're not trying to get fans from New York. The people go to New York, or
That's what I'm saying. I would go to New York, but I wouldn't go to the game.
Why?
I have zero interest sitting outside watching a football game in a baseball stadium in 10-degree weather where it's going to be 6 inches of snow.
If you're a fan of one of these teams, you've probably already done that. And it's not going to be like that. I mean, that would be an unusual case. Cold, yes. And but you're giving up the fact you're cold and you're in New York City and you're at Yankee Stadium. So you got to kind of give and get there. So I think it's an equal again, it's a mid-level team. It's not going to be like it's a high-level team.
I would opt out of that bowl game if I was a player.
That Quick Lane Bowl, that should be quickly jettisoned. That's the worst, one of the worst bowls. And even the stupid, what's the one in San Francisco?
It used to be the Foster Farms. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
And
that's
before
another
that, it was
terrible
like
bowl
the
game.
Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good poll. Yep.
Not catching on. It's not catching on. And that's in California.
Right.
So there you go. I think we're we got another minute, don't we? So isn't that beautiful? We have another. Whatever that means. Wrap it up. You wrap it up. You wrap it up. It's like it's like what was it?
Lock it up.
You wrap it up. You wrap it up. You better lock it up. You lock it up. That's be a great movie to watch today. A little Wedding Crashers, The Big Lebowski. What's your favorite game you're looking forward to watching on Christmas Day?
You have 25 seconds.
Are you asking me?
You have 15 seconds.
I don't watch any games on Christmas Day. Nothing. It's Christmas movie. It's usually a Christmas story replaying 24 hours.
Well, that's because Georgia State's playing in Ball State. Sorry, David Letterman, but nobody cares. Hey, man, it's been a great, great day. Happy Festivus to everybody. I cannot thank you enough. Gigantic thank you to Dustin and John, the producer. We had a blast today. I hope you have a very, very happy Festivus. I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And we will see you again on Monday. Back then. Until then, for Dustin, for John, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.